Understand something. Plain and simple. To me, Abigail was a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie! That felt good! Yowie wowie. Let me in.
What's up, everyone? We are back with another episode of Abby's Window, and I apologize for being a couple minutes late. I was trying to get in from work from a meeting, and yeah, so I apologize. As always, we have the one and only Jodie Gilly, our Abby, your Abby. Hello, Abby. How are you, Jodie?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good, good.
It was a long day at work, so obviously I'm in this get up. It's Nurses Week. So we're doing a different theme every day. Obviously today was 70s day. So, and it was also Mondays are my very, very busy day. We do wound rounds on Mondays. So that's what I've been doing all day. I've been running around like a crazy person. So yeah,
You've been busy.
very busy. I got my new glasses today.
There you go. I like them. I like them. Let's welcome in some folks real quick, and then we'll get started. Let's see here. Let me go back up to the top. Erase Your Mind, Odin's Son, James Grant. Jody was in the chat too, by the way. James Chadwick. Mary. Hey, Mary. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. Let us know. Do you have any kind of like Twitter or Instagram or anything that we can tag in anything that we do? Just wanted to ask. Big Dan, Paul Healy, Brittany K, Dalton Riley, Jason Peace, Rare Kitty Balloonicorn. I love that name. Alicia P, Jesse Callan, Mark. What's up, Mark from Facebook? Brittany saying, I just want to say hi and talk about how Adam invited me and mom to his Control Your Narrative event this Friday for my birthday. That is really cool.
Yeah, he sure did. They had a beautiful little interaction on Twitter. It was adorable.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Mary, if you can drop that email down in the chat, so that way I know people might want to send well wishes and prayers and condolences, all that good stuff. So just drop that down in the chat if you don't mind. So as always, we're going to get started on Abby's Window with Caleb's Corner. So take it away, Jody.
Always love it. Always. So Mr. Caleb posted today his updated tour list, which I commented and said we were definitely going to talk about that, and he liked it, which was adorable. So for the month of May and the month of June, he's got 2 dates in Illinois. On the 28th and the 29th, he is going to be in Norwalk, Connecticut on June the 3rd at the Wall Street Theater. He is going to be in Times Square on June the 4th, lucky duck, at the Palladium Times Square. He's going to be in Warren, Ohio on June the 10th at Robbins Theater. June 11th, he's going to be at People's Bank Theater in Marietta, Ohio, which is what I will be at. That is a Bat Experience show. Then he moves on the next day to Warrendale, PA. And then on June the 18th, he's going to be in Black Mountain, North Carolina at Silverados with his band, which I'm going to that show as well. It's going to be a blast. The whole family has decided to go to that June 18th concert, so we'll all be there.
Oh,
Yeah. So, my 9-year-old, she loves some Caleb. So I think she, you know, the opportunity to get anywhere near him, she will just die. And Logan and Tate are obviously big Caleb fans as well. Tate really wants to tell Caleb what his favorite song is, and I'm going to post a link to the video of it in the chat because it's the first song that Caleb ever wrote. And he recorded the video for it. He posted it like 10 years ago. So he was like 21 and he is just so stinking adorable. He doesn't have the long hair, doesn't really have a beard or facial hair. Like, it's just adorable. So I'm posting that link in the chat. Make sure you go check out his website, calebjohnsonofficial.com. Get all your merch. Make sure you go get Mountain Mojo Volume 1 on vinyl because it's freaking amazing. I think you can still get autographed ones of Mountain Mojo Volume 1. And I love the title of that because it just, Volume 1, that means we're going to get more, which I love. He needs to make music for the rest of his life because he's got that beautiful voice.
awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So check out Caleb. All the information is in the description below, and Jodie put that link in the chat. So go check that out too. So we had a pay-per-view last night.
We did.
And before we get into some of the more notable stuff, because there were a couple things that happened during the night that are noteworthy that we probably need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Overall thoughts. I know you shared this last night, but overall thoughts on WrestleMania Backlash.
I mean, Backlash has always kind of been one of those placeholder pay-per-views. So James Chadwick, at least it's not Caleb with a K. No, but his nephew does call him Uncle KK, which is even more adorable. So I've seen that on social media a little bit, that his nephew calls him Uncle KK, which is adorable. So yeah, I feel like Backlash is a little bit of a filler pay-per-view so that they have one every week or every month. So I thought it was a decent show. Like, the matches were good and, pretty solid. There obviously were a lot of things missing, and that's why I say it almost doesn't feel like a pay-per-view, but I thought it was a really solid pay-per-view. I really was not expecting anybody to win that Ronda and Charlotte match. So that was, and we got some big surprises with Rhea Ripley joining Edge and Damian Priest, which was awesome. I kind of think it's a possibility they might go up to rival the Bloodline. I mean, they're starting to build. You have to start building some group up to go up against them. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent pay-per-view.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was surprised. I had very, very, very low expectations going in. I didn't think it was going to be like, great or, blow my socks off or anything like that. But I thought it was a great show. I really did think it was a really good show.
Yeah.
I thought there were some good matches on there, good moments. And we're going to talk about a couple of those moments because there were a few. So let's talk about the open, the glitch.
Yeah.
That we saw. Now, I think Detective C Wrestling pointed out that it was The Undertaker.
Yep.
But did you see that upon first watch?
Yeah, I thought it was like, I looked at it for a second. I'm like, did that just happen? Like when the lights flicker and you're like, wait, did I just see that or did I hallucinate? So yeah, I definitely saw that in the beginning. I also felt like, unless I was going crazy, the that the intro was going faster on my TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, anytime you have any kind of technical glitches, your mind immediately goes to Bray. I mean, it just, you can't help it. He's ingrained it into our psyche at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was an interesting placement for that glitch. But of course, you start to think, could it be? Is it likely? Because I think, and I forget who said this. Might have been Conrad, but he said it. I mean, honestly, Wyndham is like the new CM Punk when it comes to buzz on
Yep.
the internet and buzz in a crowd. When you see something happen, it's like
Could be
now
Wyndham.
you start to think, is it Wyndham?
Yeah.
Is it him?
And, I was talking to Chris about it last night, and, he brought up a good point. Like, all of these little pieces on their own don't really seem like much. You get this here and there, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you could kind of, go down that rambling rabbit hole, so to speak, and theorize and figure out, could that have meant anything? And so all those moments separately, you're kind of like, it could be coincidence. But when you put them all together, you're sitting there going, you guys, Wyndham's just fucking with us. This is all a story. Like, right? He has to be. Like, there's all these little pieces and they come together, and you're just sitting there going, I think he's messing with us. That's why he hasn't done any interviews, public interviews. That's why he hasn't signed with another company. Like, right?
It's fun for him.
It is. But if anybody could pull that off, that this is all a story, it would be him.
Of course. Jesse saying yeah, but better because CM Punk is actually CM Chump. Wow.
Ooh. Those are fighting words.
Fired. Shots fired.
Oh man,
Deanna saying, I said that once. What if all of this is like Alice in Wonderland?
yeah. I mean, I have Chris convinced that this is all a story at this point. I don't know that I have myself convinced, but he's convinced that this is all just a ruse, and he's going to pop up at some point and be like, guess who's back, bitches?
Might just say witches be wildin', man.
That would be funny. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a possibility that he's just messing with us.
I mean, it's an interesting thought for sure. Which brings me to the next. Well, again, like you said, all these little bits and pieces separately are like, that's a cool coincidence, but
Yeah.
when you add all of it up, it's
Yeah, you're sitting there going, I mean, you have to remember that Bray is a genius storyteller. That's what he's known for. He's so good at it. And he's very methodical, and he's really good at keeping his mouth shut. So I don't know. I think I might be jumping down that rambling rabbit hole.
I like that, the rambling rabbit hole. I got to make a graphic for that now. Yeah, I'm saying, hold on, Alicia P saying, or he say, did you miss me? Deanna, but he's always giving us just what we needed, not all of it. Wyndham comes back as an American Psycho type version of his dad's Michael Wall Street, R Shyster character. We need the Walrus Part 2 story.
Yes. We need to know what happened to Wobbly Walrus.
Yes. Yeah. That would be.
No, it really does make you think. Like, what if? And I'm trying to remember what was the very, very first like snippet hint that we got. Was it the box? When he was coming back as the Funhouse, it was just a box with
I think it was just a box. Yeah.
right? And then everybody was like, what the heck was that? But it started out just like this. There were little things that you were like, what was that? No idea what that was.
Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden,
Did you?
we got to shout this out. We got to shout this out. There was someone in the crowd dressed as the Fiend.
Yeah.
Now, that was pretty cool. They had the wig and everything.
That was a pretty well-made mask. That didn't look like your run-of-the-mill WWE shop mask. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, that was custom made.
That was very nice. Mini Fiend is what Erase Your Mind is saying. Mini Fiend, because now on commentary, Pat McAfee did say the Fiend.
He said, is that the Fiend in the front row?
That the Fiend in the front row. Now, they could have just ignored the kid dressed as the Fiend.
Yeah.
They could have ignored that, but they didn't. Why do you think that is, Jodie?
I mean, yes, Pat McAfee is known for kind of saying kind of whatever he wants. He goes very off the cuff, and I think that's what makes him great as a ring announcer. Not a ring announcer. That's what makes him great as an announcer, but you also have to remember that right now Pat McAfee is like this with Vince McMahon. They had that amazing moment at WrestleMania, and they're tight right now. So I can't imagine. I can imagine Pat McAfee being a little bit more careful or open to more scripted pointers of things because he's in tight with McMahon. And so it's definitely interesting that he chose to mention, because he didn't say Bray Wyatt. He said the Fiend.
The Fiend.
And WWE didn't release the Fiend. They released Bray Wyatt, which is another thing to think about. They never used his real name. All it said was that Bray Wyatt was released. They never said anything about the Fiend. And now they're starting to bring up the Fiend again. And then the whole thing with the Euro shop and Bray Wyatt being a suggestion again, like there's just either it was, like I said, it's one of those things where you're like, it could be coincidence, that moment on its own, but you put it with everything else that we've been sitting here for weeks talking about, and you're like, I don't know. Like, either it was a unscripted moment that Pat McAfee's known for, and Vince was really pissed that he brought that up on national television instead of just ignoring it, or he was asked to say that. He was asked to mention it.
Yeah.
But you would think if you're Vince McMahon, that kid's been sitting there the whole time. This was towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
Wouldn't at some point, if he was worried about Pat McAfee saying something about it, he's got earbuds in. Wouldn't he have said, hey, don't pay any attention. Don't mention that kid in the front row. Like, you know what I mean? Or he would come in his ear and be like, hey, make a comment about the Fiend.
It's interesting. And a lot of people have mentioned this in the chat too. But Vince McMahon did name Bray by name at the Hall of Fame when he was going through the list of folks that have wrestled Taker.
Taker, yeah.
Deanna saying the dirt sheets would have said something if Vince was pissed.
Yeah.
Someone might have figured that out by now if he were pissed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I find it interesting.
Deanna just brought up a good point too. In one of his posts, Bray said, "I am the Fiend."
Mm.
And I don't know.
Now let me ask you this, and I want to ask the chat this since we're talking about it. Just a group of friends talking about this thing. So let's say that he does. Let's say he ends back up in WWE. What if he's just there as the Fiend? What if it's not multiple parts? It's just the Fiend. How would you feel about that?
I think it would be a disservice to how great at promos and on the mic he is. Unless you're going to put the top, don't really anticipate Bray being okay with that. I think if you're going to bring back the Fiend and just the Fiend, he needs a mouthpiece. Bray is the one that has to be on the mic because he's too good at it.
Yeah.
But the Fiend would have to have a mouthpiece. That's why the Funhouse part was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got that balance, of Funhouse Bray talking about the Fiend, and then the Fiend didn't have to talk. So,
see, I don't want to lose that part.
Right.
I want the whole, I want all of it, every bit of it. Big Dan saying, think of this: they aren't currently paying Jodie's favorite wrestler $10 million a match, so there's a chance there's money to bring Bray back home. Of course, Brittany K talking about a shirtless Fiend.
Not surprising. He is a very handsome dude.
What if it's Bray's a new Bray character?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that if he needs a mouthpiece, it would need to be Bray. So if you don't want the Funhouse back and you don't want Funhouse Bray back and you're just going to bring back the Fiend, then Bray needs to play another character to be that mouthpiece.
What if he's just Windham?
I'd be okay with that.
I mean, didn't he say Windham is the key?
Yep. And that they're one and the same.
Yeah.
What if he comes back as cult leader Bray? Can you imagine cult leader Bray being the mouthpiece for the Fiend?
Oh God. Now you're combining some.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he did that Man in the Woods promo. Like you could really delve into that.
You really could. James saying need the whole package: cult leader, Funhouse, and Fiend.
Three faces of Windham.
You say what now?
I said the three faces of Windham.
Three faces of Windham. The cult of Windham. That could be another spin.
The cult of Windham. Three faces of Windham. Ooh. I dig that. That would be a nice play on the cult of Windham. The cult of Windham is cult leader Bray, Funhouse Bray, and the Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Jesse saying, I need the promo side of Bray. I think it would be weird for them to pay Bray to play the Fiend and not take full advantage of his services when they could have paid someone less to play just the Fiend. I agree with that. Alicia talking about maybe he joins Logs. If you were not here, if you weren't here last night, that was fun. A fun moment. We talked about the green shirt people and calling them the Legion of Green Shirts. And Alicia quickly made a shirt design for it, and it was awesome. So Um, Erase Your Mind saying it did not have to be Bray and the Fiend. It does not have to be Bray and the Fiend. It could always be Windham and the Fiend.
Because and you can tie that back to them saying that they've come to terms on the release of Bray Wyatt, and that's it.
There you go. Ooh, this is interesting right here from Brittany. Hear me out. Ezekiel and Wyndham versus Elias and the Fiend.
That would have to be a cinematic match, obviously, but
Can you imagine how brilliant that could be, though, if they ever did that?
as a cinematic match,
Mhm.
yeah. I like James Grant, what he said about do it like Undertaker did in his final match with AJ. He was all 3 in 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Cult of Wyndham versus Judgment Day. Yes, Wyndham could take out Rhea too. Yeah, Jesse, that was the podcast thing that was put out there, but I was just trying to do a play off of that, just as he could call his 3 faces the Cult of Wyndham.
Yeah. There's no reason that he can't use that beautiful idea for something else if it's not going to come to fruition.
Yep. What's up, Wally? How are you? That's a money match.
That would be interesting for sure. I don't know if you would like I said, it would have to be cinematic. Like there's nothing else you can. And I think they're moving away from that, unfortunately, because I think it's a really nice. It's refreshing to see cinematic things in wrestling. So
it's fun, and and it's a good way to tell a story too. Like if you want to tell a more in-depth story, you can really use the cinematic match as a good method to do that. So
I mean, like the Ultimate Deletion match. I mean, things like that. Like I'd like to see a little bit more stuff like that. Just because the fans are back doesn't mean that you can't still play to those strengths, especially with Wyndham.
Exactly. Brittany wants to be the referee.
There might be a slight little bit of bias there. I don't know that would work very well.
It's true. There'll be some bias. Erase Your Mind saying I can dig Fiend versus Edge. Deanna saying Gacy could be a Wyndham cult disciple. Alicia saying, think about this, is the Fiend the box and Wyndham is the key to open the box. Dalton saying Seth is acting dark and Joker-like, just like Bray was. What's up, Joe? How's it going? Deanna saying she's timekeeper if Brittany is the referee.
I'll be the camera person. Stick me in a tech booth. I'm happy.
I was going to say, do you want to be the ring announcer? But
no
ring announcer.
I like to be behind the scenes. So, like I said, I'm comfortable in a tech booth.
Yeah. So we got everything covered, is what we're saying. Wyndham as Judgment Day's higher power, Jody. Edge teases it, saying he gave me the power. When he comes, you all will be judged for the final time.
Edge is Falcone and Wyndham is Ra's al Ghul. I love it.
That's
deep.
That's deep.
That's deep.
That is deep.
I like it.
That's a good comment, Big Dan.
Yeah.
That is a really, really good comment. I like that. Yeah, Joe can be the announcer. I can just be somewhere.
You guys are a team. You'd have to do it together. You're,
Okay, I guess.
yeah, you guys are a team. Yeah, you'd have to do it together. That'd be awesome because you guys play off of each other really well.
XFL 2023. What's up? That's something Wyndham would go crazy over. Mark saying, but maybe I'm going a bit for far fetched here on this, but since we are talking about the Fiend, I want to go in a different direction for this. Roman has been in the news lately, the last few days, saying he's thinking of leaving. I can correct that. His contract is
Just
just
got renewed.
it's just got renewed, and he's doing less house show dates. That was the comment. He might not be touring as much to some of the smaller shows. Uh, Again, I may be off topic. I don't think there's a coincidence that Roman has been in the news while we've been talking about Bray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of different puzzle pieces to this. It's like I said, it's what Bray's really good at. So if this all is just a story and he pops up somewhere, we're all going to be sitting here going, that was genius. Absolutely genius. Here's what I need to do. Okay. So you guys are going to that June 11th meet and greet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like either you or Brittany, someone needs to be straight up with him and be like, Wyndham, is this all a story? Like, is this all a ruse? Are you messing with us? And see what he says.
Okay. I'll do it.
You're messing with all of us, aren't you? This is all a story. But if you say it like that, this is all a story, he will probably say yes, but you won't know what he's saying yes about. Which part is all a story? Just be like, you're screwing with all of us, aren't you?
Yes, Deanna, another meet and greet in Jersey.
Mm-hmm. But I'm curious. Yeah, he will give a non-straight answer. Very, very cryptic because that's how he is. But I'm curious to see like what his facial expression is if somebody says, this is all a joke, isn't it? Like, you weren't released. You're coming, like, this whole thing is a story.
You just wanted to get out of the rat race for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do some things that you really wanted to do.
The first time that he's done that. Let's remember that.
Right.
Before he came back with the Funhouse, he was gone for like a year.
Mm-hmm. Yes. As a matter of fact, I just want to put his face up on the screen.
Yeah.
Since it's been a while.
It has been. Look at that beautiful face. But yeah, he was gone for like a year.
Yeah.
Before he came back as Funhouse Bray. So it's not the first time that he's done this. I mean,
Alicia saying, stop messing with our heads. We're already screwed up.
Like I said, if anybody could pull this off and this all be a ruse, it would be Bray Wyatt. He's the only one that could pull this level of story off. Like, I don't know. I think we're on a ride, you guys. I think he's messing with us.
Yeah. I mean, it's very possible that he's messing with us. And maybe he went to I mean, who knows? Maybe it was a mutual thing where it was like, you know what? I want to take some time and do some stuff from a business standpoint. Maybe they were like, well, maybe it's best that we release you or whatever, and you go do your thing, and
Come back when you're ready.
you come back when you feel right.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
They did the same thing to Drew.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "Hey, you're not ready. Come back when you are." Not that Bray isn't ready, but maybe he was the one saying that. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, it's one of those things where who knows what the conversations were. That's the one thing that's left out of the reports is that, was there a mutual parting of ways?
But I think there's a reason why he hasn't done any interviews yet. I think that might be the reason. Because he's not done.
Not burning that bridge.
And not even not burning that bridge. Like I said, if this is all a story, of course he's not going to do any interviews talking about his release and if it was a mutual thing, or because it's easier at that point to screw it up.
Sure.
I mean, and that's, and he told me he's not doing interviews just yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm intrigued by this, story rabbit hole that we're going down.
Yeah.
Definitely makes you think.
It makes you wonder. I mean, again, who knows the conversations that take place backstage when it comes to people and their contracts? We don't know. We know that we get the list of names and all that stuff, but we don't know the details. And we know what the wrestlers tell us, but we haven't heard anything like Jodie said. So what does that mean?
Other than that tweet,
Mm-hmm.
you could infer from that he hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Because he said, "What do we do now? We wait for the right time. We wait for the right place." That could just as easily be, "I'll be back."
Mm-hmm.
In WWE, the Fiend will be back. It's just got to be the right time.
Yeah. James saying, I would love to see Windham on the Broken Skull sessions with Steve Austin. They had when Steve Austin was doing his podcast more regularly, he had Windham on, and it's like a 2 or 3 part interview with him, and it's just fascinating the stuff that they go into.
Wyndham's a fascinating person to talk to. And not even talk. He's a fascinating person to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, that first interview that he does, I don't imagine the people asking the questions are going to say much because it's going to be like, you talk. It's all you, depending on where he does that first interview. But, I mean, he's one of those people that you can literally hand the mic to and be like, have at it. It's all yours.
Talk as long as you want.
Yeah. And he would kill it.
Mm-hmm.
How many people in WWE can you say that about? Like, with no context, and be like, here, go talk.
Hey. Connor. Hello, Connor says hi, and Chris Smith. Hello, Chris Smith. Thank you both for stopping by. There's all kinds of wild stuff going on in the chat. Talking about getting hands and all kinds of stuff.
Oh dear.
Big Dan saying Heyman gets kidnapped, and when the bloodline finds him, he's catatonic, and you hear maniacal laughter and the crucifix symbol on the wall behind Heyman and the red circle under it.
I'm excited to hear about this movie.
Same. Same.
So if you could make here's a question for the chat. If you could make a horror movie with Wyndham, what kind of character would you have him play? And you can't use the Fiend.
Ooh.
You got to go in a different direction because I know everybody's going to be like, you know, everybody's going to be like, oh, do a movie about the man in the woods. You can't use that.
Can't use that.
What
Gotta
kind
play.
of horror villain would you have him play?
That is a good question. And I'm curious to hear what the chat has to say. Connor says, I would love Bray to come back. You and everyone here.
Yep.
We definitely want him back. Chris says, ask the hippie to bring back some green stuff to the future. What's up, Chris? Oh goodness. That's a good question, Jody. Jesse saying the mind game playing psychopath. That's also a super genius. Let's see. Wow, the chat jumped real quick there. XFL saying Fiend versus Theory. Bray goes after Vince's pet. Something psychotic, says James. Joe says slasher film with someone like Devil's Rejects.
Ooh.
That's good. Rabbit Earl saying hillbilly farmer. Cult leader. House of a Thousand Corpses with a puppet master twist. Jekyll and Hyde type character, says Gene. Make him psychotic. Bray as a mad scientist.
Ooh.
I like that. Who made what public after you?
Not a clue.
Yeah, I don't know. In the basement, no one can hear you scream. Roller skating crossdresser.
You know what though? As funny as that is, I kind of would like to see his comedic side a little bit more. I mean, we've seen little bits and pieces of it with the Funhouse. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing him in something completely different and to explore that comedic side a little bit more. Because I think he's really funny. Like, he is a really funny guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Make him a crazy old wizard, says Connor. I would say something between Jason and Freddy combination. Joe saying remake of The Burning Wyndham could be play props. Okay.
Ooh.
Big Dan.
Son of Leatherface.
How about Bray as the son of Leatherface, previously unknown, the result of a one night stand Leatherface had with the witch on Halloween?
You could take that a step further and say that she put a spell on him and seduced him because she wanted this evil child.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got deleted. Oh boy. Okay, someone can tell me what it is later. What it was. Derek, what's up, Derek? A puppet fiend as Chucky.
I don't know.
There's a lot of different.
I think you'd have to, if you were going that horror route, I think you have to bring that psychology into play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he can be your typical slasher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that he wouldn't do a good job with it, but you've got to bring some psychosis into it. You've got to bring some mind games into it. Because I think he'd do really well with that, just playing mind games with people and psychologically breaking them down.
Yeah.
I mean, what if you had him come out, had him come out, he's a serial killer, but he's not really a serial killer because he hasn't actually killed anybody. Kind of like Jigsaw. Hasn't actually killed anybody, but breaks them down psychologically to the point of suicide or something weird like that they have a complete mental break. But he doesn't actually kill anybody. So you what are you going to do? How are you going to handle that? Kind of like, you know, he puts them in those situations where, you know, if you die, you die. He didn't kill anybody.
I like that. See, now you know the deal says Bray could pull off a priest who's lost faith in demonic possession of someone close to him, gets him back, exorcism type flick. Of course, Joe's like, heck no. Joe's like, no, don't even think about it. Something like a Hannibal Lecter type.
Yeah, like that psychological thriller.
Yeah. Yeah. Something. Windham as a sponge bath nurse. Oh goodness.
His own version of the movie Split. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. That would be tremendous.
Yeah.
If you think about if he had like 5 different versions of himself and each was a different type of sadistic
Sociopath.
Yeah, I mean just each one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is something different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think he has that range that it would just lend himself so great to those psychological mind games type movies.
Yeah.
So if he can somehow bring those two together, that slasher, gory, and mind games, I think that he would just kill it.
I agree. Connor saying make Bray into a kinky character. Brittany saying he could do a great remake of the movie Seven. James saying I just want a Bray murder spree, not to be bothered by anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you could go that direction too. I mean, how much would you love to see? As much as we love Tom Savini, I'd love to see him make a movie with Rob Zombie.
That would be awesome.
I think those two together would just be phenomenal.
Big Dan saying, what about Windham as an alternate version of Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange 3, like a hillbilly version based on cult leader Bray?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Because that character, I mean, that's the version of him that I fell in love with, was cult leader Bray. So, you know, exploring that a little bit more, maybe going into the backstory of Abigail and why he became cult leader Bray, how he became cult leader Bray.
To really do a deep dive.
Mm-hmm. I'd enjoy that too.
What's up, Dork Knight? Split, Alicia.
Yes, it's called Split.
Yeah, Split. James saying, could you see Windham in a remake of Halloween, but more sadistic and twisted?
Halloween's synonymous with Michael Myers. So unless Michael Myers suddenly decided to get a sidekick, or like we kind of said earlier, got bewitched and by a witch, and that, you know, she had this sadistic Michael Myers type kid. I mean, because that was his backstory too. That was Michael Myers' backstory as well. So Yeah.
What if he were to step in and play one of these horror villains? What if he were the new Jason Voorhees? If he donned the hockey mask?
I mean, I'd love it. I really would, because I think, like I said, I think he would kill it. I think someone like Jason would be a good one for him to play. I think it's difficult to see because of the mask. Like, I think it's difficult to see anybody else but Robert Englund in that as Freddy Krueger. Oh, Deanna. Abigail is the witch that bewitches Michael Myers.
Ooh. You got the wheels turning.
Yeah. It's Abigail. Like an origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, Braun would be a great Jason.
Yeah, he would.
You know the deal. Remake of Psycho would be awesome. Bray in any Hitchcock film would be great. I agree
Yeah.
with that.
They could make. What about remaking like American Psycho?
Okay.
Because I think he would do pretty good with that role too.
Yeah. I think anything where he can just let loose and be just crazy, just off the rails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just let him do what he wants to do. He could probably come up with his own serial killer or slasher, create his own.
If he hasn't already.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
Yeah, if he hasn't already.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh,
Jack,
my wheels are turning.
yeah, I know they are. I know they are.
Oh,
From Dusk Till Dawn. If they did a remake of that, yeah. I hear you, Alicia.
I dig it. I dig it.
Let's see. Bray in a sitcom called Those Wacky Wyatts about his backwoods family mentioned in the Man in the Wood story.
Like, yeah, like I would love to see more of his funny side because he is really funny.
The wheels of the minds of the chat are rolling here. I like it. Jackson Rick agreeing with Jodie on the Rob Zombie
For sure.
edition.
Ooh.
I like that Odin son. Wyndham's own dark twisted version of Wizard of Oz.
I dig it. What if he plays the wizard?
Shoot it at the land of Oz in Beach Mountain. Please, for the love of God. Do it. They need to shoot a horror film there.
Mm-hmm.
Dork Knight saying Wyndham could be. You said what now?
What if he played the wizard?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. Shoot it at the land of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to do. Please, someone. Just make a horror film there. I don't know how many people know about the land of Oz. Go check it out. Look it up. It looks cool. It looks creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It is a real place in the mountains of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Go check it out. Connor saying we need Bray on Abby's window. Yes, we do.
It's in the works. We're working on it.
It's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah. I'm really just waiting for him to give me a green light and say, hey, this is when we're doing it. So we have had that conversation.
It's awesome stuff. So We got a couple minutes left. Jody, any final thoughts before we go?
Don't forget to go check out the Caleb video that I posted in the chat. It's the first song he's ever written. It's a good one, and go down the Caleb Johnson rabbit hole too, because you won't regret that one either. Trust Abby. Trust me. So now that we've gone down the rambling rabbit hole, you got to go down the Caleb Johnson rabbit hole too.
There you go. There you go. For the rest of this week, we'll be back Thursday for Impact Wrestling. We'll be here 7:45 Thursday, and then after that at 10:15 for After the Impact. Nothing Friday or Saturday, and then we'll be back Sunday for our weekly wrestling wrap-up show. We got a lot discussed tonight. There was a lot. There was a lot that we did. And it's interesting because, what's funny is someone said to me, "How do you guys talk about Windham? He hasn't been wrestling in over a year." And I was like, there's always stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
There's always conversations to be had, things to break down. Yeah. It's always a good time.
Always.
Jeff, we need a Rambling Rabbit theme. Oh boy. So I need to go to work on a graphic apparently. So I will do that.
A rambling rabbit hole.
Rambling Rabbit Hole. You know what? That might become a shirt too. Just saying.
I'm going down the rambling rabbit hole.
Might become a shirt. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you have not done so, please subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video. Let us know that you enjoyed this episode. Again, we'll see you on Thursday night for Impact Wrestling. Stay safe, and we will see you next time.
La